For today's show, I have guests with whom I'll be discussing on mentorship. Yes, mentorship. And we'll be looking at mentorship from two perspectives or views. Mentorship from the view or perspective of a mentor, and mentorship from the view or perspective of a mentee. And as usual, it promises to be an exciting, educative, and enlightening session. But before then, we're going on a quick break. Coming up next is Ajuwaya News, so don't go nowhere.
Good afternoon, viewers. You're listening to our Ajuwaya News. I am Motsunrayo Awokoya. Before the news, first, the headline. Eradication of corruption starts with you, says Anti-Corruption CDS Group. Now, the news in details. The Anti-Corruption Community Development Service Group took the message of anti-corruption captioned, How to Eradicate Corruption, to the students of Imesile in Obokun local government area. During the sensitization exercise at the school premises, the students were enlightened on exam malpractices as a form of corruption, urging them to desist from such acts. Members of the group, while passing out a clear message on the evil of corruption in Nigeria and how it affects public life, business investment, and standard of living, states that corruption is an epidemic that has eaten deep into the fabric of the Nigerian society, and for the country to see the greatness in it, the fight against corruption should be taken seriously in all sectors. Among the few causes of corruption highlighted by the group are greed, illiteracy, infringement on the right to freedom of expression and information, ignorance, among others. The students were equally enlightened on the effects and solution to the menace according to them. Corruption increases inequality, decreases popular accountability and political perspectiveness, and thus produce rising frustration and hardship among citizens. Also, the group charged members of the school administration and staffs to join hands together and curb corruption in the Nigerian society. The interactive sensitization exercise also allowed for questions and response from both students and the school staffs. That has been our Ajuwaya News. Thank you for listening. Do join us same time next week. Bye-bye.
Welcome back from that very short break, and thank you so much, Miss Awokoya Motunrayo, for that Ajuwaya news. As I said earlier, we'll be discussing on mentorship. And of course, mentorship is highly needed by every youth out there. Your mentor could be your friend, could be your family member, could be a friend of a friend, could be a co-worker, could be your lecturer, could be your teacher, could be your boss at work. It could also be your religious leader. Whosoever you deem fit to be your mentor should be someone who sees more ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. I won't go further. Here with me to discuss on this topic are my guests, a core member at the editorial CDS and a coordinator at Sevolution Resource Center. Welcome to the show, Mr. Elijah and Mr. Mike Adewumi.
Thank you, Father.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
How was your day?
Thank God. Very good.
Hope it was stress-free.
Because today is a new month.
Yes, happy
Happy
new month,
new
by the
month,
way.
yeah.
Happy new month.
Yeah.
Happy new
Yeah.
month. So, introduce yourself, Mr. Mike.
All right, I'm by name Mike Adekunle. I'm the coordinator, Sevolution Resource Center. It's an organization that reach out to transform the education sector in Africa. Thank you for having me on the program.
Pleasure is mine. Mr. Elijah, introduce yourself. Aside being a core member, what else do you do?
I'm Elijah, and I'm the lead curator of Opening the Eagles Rhythm. I'm a farmer, and I also teach young adults to join the business.
Wow, that's interesting. Interesting to know. So, Mr. Mike, let's start with him. What do you have for us today?
All right, basically, I'm going to be talking about mentorship from a mentor perspective.
Okay, so that is to say there are people out there that look up to Mr. Mike as their mentor.
Of course.
Wow,
Yes.
that's interesting. Mr. Elijah.
Thank you. I'm equally talking about mentorship from the mentee's perspective.
Okay, so that is to say you have a mentor
I have
out
a mentor,
there.
okay, and there's several misconceptions people have when the issue of mentorship is being discussed. So we are going to look at it from this other angle, or as a mentee, and also look at how we can, you see, put all those things in proper perspective.
Okay, so Mr. Michael, what does mentorship mean to you?
Okay, as a mentor, well, mentorship actually is the transfer of knowledge from one person, of course the mentor, to another. That's the mentee. It could be knowledge in the sense of skills, it could be expertise, it could be experience, but then it could even be transgenerational. Age may not be an issue, but then it is basically when you pass knowledge. Yes, and the willingness to do so. That is mentorship. That's the art.
So there should be a willingness. You
Yes.
should be wanting to transfer that knowledge.
To the other person. That is the mentee.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Elijah, from the aspect or from the view of a mentee, what does mentorship mean to you?
Well, to me as a mentee, I believe a mentee is a learner, someone who learns to receive advice, someone who learns to set priorities. So mentorship from that angle, to me, is the relationship between two individuals. And of course, which one has more knowledge, more connection, and of course, more experience, and is ready to leverage such on the other one, who is ready to also learn from him.
Okay. So a mentee is more like a learner.
It's a learner.
You sit under someone.
You sit under someone's tutelage and learn what you don't know.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, Mr. Mike Adekunle, why did you decide to be a mentor?
Well, apparently, thank you. Investment in people pays the best interest. When you invest in others and you help others, in the long run, you are helping yourself.
True.
So, I see mentorship as an avenue to reproduce yourself in other people. You see, success is always not measured by maybe the accumulation of wealth, but your legacy. And the best way to lay a good legacy is to be able to raise mentees after you. So I see mentorship as the best form of investment. And that's why I am always glad to be a mentor.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm very sure that people that sit under you for tutelage are truly, they are. Will I say they are truly, will I put it? They must be. Oh, I don't know the
Okay,
word. I
it's
don't know
okay.
the word, but
It's okay.
they must. It must be a good thing to
Yes.
sit under
Yes,
you to
yes.
learn.
I can't blow my horn, but then, but I want to believe so. I want to
Okay,
believe so.
so Mr. Elijah, over to you, the mentee. Why did you decide to go on a mentorship program?
Okay, thank you. You see, to me, I believe education is a process of acquiring general knowledge and also preparing it for the future. So if I say I'm educated, I must not limit myself to the knowledge I acquired during the 5-year degree awarding program in the university. I need general knowledge. I need the power to live well in the society.
Sure.
So, and as such, I needed someone who has more experience
Than
to be
you.
able to teach me this. There's someone who is more, your knowledge alone has a ceiling. There's someone who knows what you don't know.
Yeah, sure.
So for me
let
to-
it never end.
Yeah.
So for me to say I'm educated, I must not limit myself to only academic knowledge. And as such, I sought for a mentor outside my field of study.
Wow, interesting. That's awesome. So you wanted to learn more. That's why you decided to go into a mentorship program. Wow, that's great to know. So Mr. Michael, over to you again. Are there any benefits of being a mentor?
Of course, there are. In fact, several at that. But among many of the benefits that you have as a mentor, because I usually balance this. For most young people who want to have mentor, they look at mentorship from the perspective of they are always the one gaining, that is the mentee. But no, actually the two relationship between a mentor and a mentee, the best kind of relationship should be interdependent relationship. And what that means is that there are benefits for both the mentee and
There
the
are benefits
mentor.
for the mentor
Yes, so there are benefits for the two of them. Among many benefits that the mentor has is honor. Honor. As a mentor and one who does that very well, one of the things you will enjoy is honor, especially from your mentee. You know, it is always a wonderful thing to see somebody rise. And when they say, who helped him or who helped her, they point
Mention
to
your
you.
name.
You know, amazingly, you'll be so surprised. Somebody probably who has been under your tutelage and the person rising to a great height in life. And they
The
ask,
thing of honor, actually,
Yes.
it is.
yes. So basically, primarily honor. But another very important benefit is the fulfillment. The fulfillment you have as a mentor to see your mentee rise. You know, some times ago, I was in one of the northern states, Kaduna State, and there's a young man who came for just a lesson around. I was in a suburb area, so I work with core members. At that time, I'm talking about 2015 or thereabout. So I said 2013. So, and this young man came from a village. You know, he had to pick several drops before he can get to the lesson center. And I observed that he's a very serious, loyal, faithful young man. But because of where he's coming from, he may not be able to get the best, even though he has a very good result. So I decided to, okay, let me pick this young man up and mentor him. And then, as I'm talking to you today, he's about one of the first to graduate from a university in his village.
Wow.
And just some months ago, he passed out as a core member. I mean, he rounded up his service here. When he sent me the message that he's now rounding up his, I was so glad.
You will feel so fulfilled.
Yes.
That's the fulfillment
Yes.
we're talking about.
Yeah. So basically, among several, I think honor and the joy, the fulfillment you have as a mentor, I think I should just speak on those two very, very important benefits.
That's a lot, actually. So over to you, Mr. Elijah. So have you gained anything from this mentorship program
Yeah,
you
the,
went
the,
on to?
the benefits to me is enormous, but because of time and the lack of it, I will limit it to maybe one or two. You see, in my place, there's an old adage that says, when a boy washes hands clean, he eats with kings.
True.
Okay.
True. True.
So aside the fact that you eat with kings, a mentor teaches you how to wash your hand clean. And when your hand is clean, you equally eat with kings. Okay. So that leads me to value. Okay. Your value becomes you become very hard for you to be easily replaced. People come for you. Any services you render, people come to you because you
it's
offer
more
the
like
best.
you are like the hot cake.
Good. And the good book says, among those who will come, kings will come.
Kings, surely.
So when the numerous benefits is sitting with kings, doing business with kings, you see, it's not in anything you do. There are few people that will patronize, and the patronage means a lot to you. So aside that, you see, most times we young people, there are many things we may want to do, but there is something that you must do first. So a mentor helps you to prioritize your goals. Okay, it helps you to know not to mix up your values, to know which one to do at a particular point in time, and also association, the people you work with, your friends. Okay, personally, when the mentorship program helped me to groom my friends, to inventory the people around me, and my friend, you'll be very surprised to see people that were actually wasting my time. So as a benefit, you begin to have quality people around you, people who think the way you think, people who have clearly defined goals.
Goals, just like you.
Just like you. So a mentorship program puts you in a class of like-minded and talented people in a particular field of human endeavor, and that's the benefit. Let me rest the case there because of that.
Wow, wow, that's interesting. So over to you, Mr. Michael. Have you faced any challenge as a mentor?
Well, personally, or let me first talk generally, I think challenges that mentors face actually depends on who is the mentee. I usually tell my friends that you don't mentor a mediocre. Actually, you have to test the people you mentor. And what I mean by that is not to insult anybody. Actually, there is nobody that doesn't have the potentials of greatness.
Everyone has potentials.
But what I mean by mediocre is this. It's okay to teach people, to model the right value, to even motivate, to coach. But when it comes to mentorship, there's a level of intimacy. You don't just open up yourself to just anybody. So you test the person, you have your own way of testing before you can open up to the person, to call the person your mentee. So I've had, not directly, not myself, but I've had cases of where somebody opened up to the wrong person, and then of course it's like pouring water inside basket.
That's just the truth.
You'll be wasting a lot of resources, wasting your time. And at the end of the day, you won't get thank you. What you get is rather insults and abuse and all of that. So those are challenges that a mentor faces. But then it is primarily because of the choice of mentee. Those are some of the challenges. But then, like I said earlier, it depends on who the mentee is.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Elijah, have you faced any challenge as a mentee?
Yeah, I do. But I think anything important, anything worthwhile, you have to pay for it. So I will not really put it as a challenge per se. But in most cases, there are times we have clashes of classes with maybe other personal activities. There are times, personally, like now that I'm in Osun State, there are times we have classes that I have to join online. So you need a lot of data to do that. Okay? So most of those things can state in as challenges, limited resources, and of course I joined the class of the mentorship program really after my tertiary institution. So as at that time, you may have limited resources to meet up with some of the demands that it may. But I must confess that it worth the cost. It worth the cost. So
you have to. You have to pay for that knowledge you want to gain, so that you can value it.
Good. So anything that you don't pay, you may take it for granted.
Yes.
So I paid for it, and I was ready. Not only pay. You see, when we talk about pay, it may not really be in financial equivalence. You pay in time, you pay in loyalty, you pay in availability, okay, and also carrying our assigned tax where necessary to make sure because of course, you needed something the other way around. You needed to better off a particular aspect of your life. So you need the sacrifices will be there.
Okay, so that's interesting to know. So Mr. Michael, over to you. What is the role of a mentor?
Okay, among several, I will just talk about let's say 4 thereabouts. Number 1, a mentor must and should be a motivator, somebody whose words brings out the best out of the mentee.
Okay.
Somebody who used the correct words at the right time to make sure that the best out of the person you are mentoring comes out. Another very important role that a mentor should be is the role of a teacher, somebody who is ready to teach, to show, give instruction, and direct. That is another very important role. Then a mentor should be a coach. Yeah, somebody that you can do things together. Very important. This is a major role that a mentor should play in the life of a mentee. And lastly, which is most importantly, a mentor must be a model. A mentor must be a model, somebody who can be looked up to, and not just what you say. That's why, for me, saying that you are a mentee and is like classes, it's not the best. Your lifestyle itself should pass the message you want to pass across to others. So I think those 4 are very important: a coach, a teacher, a model, and the 4th one now, and a motivator.
Someone
who can always use the correct words to direct you.
Mr. Elijah, what are qualities of a mentor? What did you see in that your mentor that attracted you to him?
Well, one of the qualities is availability and trustworthy, and somebody who you can trust. Okay, somebody who a global brand who is doesn't have questionable character, who is acceptable in the society, just like Newton. In his time, he did so many exploits in the field of science. Even till today, first law, second law, third law. When he was interviewed, he said the success he has seen further than others is because he has stood on the shoulders of the giants. So it means before the person's shoulder should be able to carry you, he must be a giant. So one of the qualities he must have something to pass on to you. So he said for him to see further than people of his class, his contemporaries, is because he stood on the shoulders of giants. So one of the things you should watch out in a mentor is being able to carry you. That's number 1. Number 2, having the right knowledge to transfer, and you shouldn't. And also a model. Okay, you should be a model. So you should look up to too. But then some people mix up what we call mentorship